surge in visits since King Charles spoke about his illness last night.
I think he will be responsible, along with an amazing medical profession, for saving thousands of lives.
Also tonight, pharmacies are having to restock the flu jab as more people react to the surge in cases. Deadly rains bring more misery to hundreds of thousands in Gaza. And on Dick Van Dyke's 100th birthday, what's his secret?
Dance, I still try to dance.
This is ITV News with Yasmin Bodalbhai.
Good afternoon. A cancer screening website has seen a surge in visits since the King urged people last night to find out what checks they're eligible for. In a deeply personal message, King Charles said his own cancer treatment will be reduced next year thanks to early diagnosis. But he said that he is troubled that millions of people are not taking up the screening they're entitled to, and he wants that to change. Will Tullis has more.
As the winter sun shone on Buckingham Palace today, many were reflecting on the King's Friday night message, in which he urged people to get checked for cancer and spoke poignantly about his own illness.
Thanks to early diagnosis, effective intervention and adherence to doctors' orders, my own schedule of cancer treatment can be reduced in the new year.
What is cancer screening?
Earlier this month, Cancer Research UK launched this service for people to check whether they're eligible for cancer screening. The charity said of the 100,000 visits their screening checker has received so far, the majority took place after the King's message. The King's friend Jonathan Dimbleby, who chairs a cancer charity in memory of his own father, says this will have a big impact.
If they listen to his message, and I think they will, simply because of his, as it were, pulling power, I think he will be responsible, along with an amazing medical profession, for saving thousands of lives.
And today we found the King's message is resonating with many.
I think it's a good thing that he's done that, and hopefully it will encourage more people to go and get themselves checked out at the doctors.
Would you yourself get checked, sir?
Most definitely, and I have done as well.
There's cancer in my family. I have yearly checks, younger than I probably normally would have done, because obviously the earlier we find anything out, the better the diagnosis and the better the prognosis.
Having somebody in that position speak out to the public and be so open about it, I think can only be a positive thing for the nation.
The world's most high-profile cancer patient appears to have made an immediate impact to this urgent issue. Will Tullis, ITV News.
Some pharmacies say they're having to order in extra flu jabs as patients flock to get the vaccine. It follows new NHS figures this week showing flu cases at a record level for the time of year. Ellie is here with more. And Ellie, you've been speaking to some vaccine providers. What have they been telling you?
Yes, so this morning, Yasmin, I've been in a pharmacy in East London where they're having to ration giving out the flu vaccine because their wholesalers have run out of stock and they've had to find a different supplier of the jab. And they know that other pharmacies are experiencing the same thing because patients have been constantly calling their pharmacy and they've been ringing around trying to find somewhere that's offering the jab. They've paused for a brief time their walk-in appointments and are only taking bookings. Interestingly, the pharmacist said that this was off the back of what's been quite widespread reporting about the rise in the number of flu cases we're seeing in the country at the moment and during this flu season, and the pressure that that's putting on hospitals. We, ITV News, have been reporting and seeing the corridor care that's been happening in hospitals because of the rise in flu cases this season, and we know that there are on average around 2,500 patients in hospitals who've got flu in England at the moment, and that's the highest that's been for this time of year in 5 years.
OK, Ellie, thank you. The UN says 800,000 people have been affected by flooding in Gaza after heavy rainfall from Storm Byron. Many Palestinians have been washed out of their makeshift shelters, and several buildings already damaged by Israeli bombardments have partially collapsed. Situl Karia reports.
Rain floods Gaza's streets, running through neighbourhoods already shattered by war. Homes weakened by months of Israeli airstrikes, are now giving way, not from bombs, but from water. In northern Gaza, rescue teams worked through the night, digging through unstable concrete soaked by rain. Since dawn, we've been trying to recover those trapped, this rescue worker said. One person has been killed, a child was pulled out injured, 5 are still missing. These were not homes fit to live in, but for many families, they were the only shelter left. In Khan Yunis in the south, families spent the night ankle deep in water. Tens of thousands are living in tents pitched on mud, sand, and now floodwater, as winter rain has turned these displacement camps into pools. We need tents, this woman pleaded. It's so unfair. Our clothes and our bedding are soaked. Please help us with shelter. For those who survived the bombs, it is now the weather that is breaking what remains. Tonight, with more storms forecast, survival depends on whether what's left standing can endure another deluge. Sejal Karia, ITV News.
In other news, 2 people have been killed in a house fire in South Wales. Police were called to the house in the village of Nelson, 10 miles north of Cardiff, yesterday evening after reports of an explosion in the garden. And the Metropolitan Police have decided not to launch a criminal investigation into claims that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor asked his taxpayer-funded bodyguard to investigate his accuser Virginia Giuffre. The Mail on Sunday had claimed it was part of an alleged smear campaign against her. In the Premier League, a week after saying he'd been thrown under the bus by Liverpool manager Arne Slot, Mo Salah is back in the team this afternoon. Salah came off the subs bench against Brighton at Anfield. Latest score there is 2-0 to Liverpool. And in the Women's Super League, Arsenal have moved up to second place, leapfrogging champions Chelsea thanks to a 3-1 win at Everton. Olivia Smith completed the victory for the Gunners. And finally, it's a happy 100th birthday to stage and screen star Dick Van Dyke.
Chim-chimney, chim-chimney, chim-chim-chirring. A sweet pitch as lucky can be.
He became one of the best-loved actors of his era, starring in Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and also fronting The Dick Van Dyke Show. His last film role was a cameo in the 2018 sequel Mary Poppins Returns, but he says he is not slowing down.
You know, I played old men a lot, and I always played them as angry and cantankerous. It's not really that way. I don't know any other 100-year-old, but I can speak for myself.
Always smiling. That's all for the moment. We'll be back with the late news at 10 o'clock, but for now, bye-bye.